The federal government plans to set up cattle ranches across 10 states and the Federal Capital Territory as a better solution to minimizing and managing the conflict between farmers and herders. The states include Adamawa, Benue, Ebonyi, Edo, Kaduna, Nasarawa, Oyo, Plateau, Taraba and Zamfara states. Under this policy, grazing ranches will be designated and provided to allow better oversight and control of the rearing practices by the herders. However, the proposal is generating several reactions, but my guest on this week's episode of the program insists that there are wrong notions going around and that proposal is more of investment than any form of invasion. Hello there, welcome to Dateline Abuja. I'm Gloria Umezuke. Plateau is one of the states slated for the pilot scheme of the proposed cattle ranching. Although there have been oppositions to this plan, the state government is going ahead. In the second part of our conversation with the state governor of Plateau State, we'll take a look at the issue of ranching. But first, what are the stories that made headlines within the week in the nation's capital?
Major opposition party, the People's Democratic Party, has formed alliance with 39 political parties for the sole objective of seizing power from the ruling All Progressives Congress at the 2019 general elections. The alliance comprises members of the reformed APC, which is a splinter group of the ruling party, led by Alhaji Kaubaraje. The announcement followed the signing of a memorandum of understanding by the leaders of the parties, and they would operate under the coalition of united political parties. Leaders of political parties who attended the meeting include the African Democratic Congress, the Social Democratic Party of Nigeria, the National Conscience Party, the Labour Party, and a host of other registered parties. However, factions of some of the parties involved have denied being part of the agreement.
It's a complete usurpation of the powers and functions of the legislature who to enact the law.
Following a heated debate on the Executive Order No. 6, recently signed by the President, the House of Representatives has urged President Muhammadu Buhari to suspend the implementation of the order in view of its controversial nature and conflict with relevant provisions of the law. A committee of the House is also to investigate all subsidiary legislations and executive orders in the country. In the Senate, the same issue was considered, and the lawmakers summoned the Attorney General and Minister of Justice to explain the constitutional basis for the executive order.
Thank you.
President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa was in Nigeria within the week as he participated at the 25th AFREXIM Annual General Meeting taking place in the nation's capital. The South African used the opportunity to urge the federal government to sign the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, insisting that Nigeria being part of the agreement will help reduce poverty and inequality in the African continent.
At the 31st session of the AU Assembly in Mauritania, just over a week ago, South Africa indeed joined its counterparts in signing the agreement. So today, I stand here, Minister, and I say, Nigeria, no pressure, no pressure, no pressure at all.
In the meantime, President Ramaphosa had a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari, where he spoke about the killing of Nigerians in South Africa.
There are many other social factors that have contributed to the high levels of crime. And criminality is something that, as I said, we're focusing on. We're doing everything to bring it down. And in the course of everything else, yes, people in various parts of the country do get engulfed in acts of criminality. The majority of them are South Africans.
At the same meeting, President Buhari gave assurances that Nigeria will soon sign the Continental Free Trade Area Agreement after the scrutiny has been completed.
So many young unemployed citizens and our industries are just coming up. So in trying to guarantee employment and goods and services to our country, we have to be careful with agreements that will compete, maybe successfully, against our own upcoming industries.
The federal government has finally broken its silence over the National Youth Service Corps certificate scandal involving the Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun. After the weekly federal executive meeting, the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, said the federal government has spoken through the NYSC on the matter and that there is nothing more to add.
And I have nothing to add to what the NYSC has said.
President Muhammadu Buhari has signed into law the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit Act of 2018. The act establishes the NFIU as a central body responsible for receiving, requesting, analyzing and disseminating financial intelligence reports to law enforcement agencies and other relevant authorities to enable them act upon it. Before now, it was domiciled in the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission.
What they collect is, for instance, transfers of money, where money comes from, where it goes to, and other suspicious transactions, including transactions relating to terrorism financing. What the law also does is to amend the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission Act, the Money Laundering Prohibition Act, and the Terrorism Prevention Act.
The federal government has warned that the issue of fake news and misinformation has reached an alarming state and could pose a major threat to the upcoming 2019 general elections. The Minister of Information, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, while speaking at the official launch of a national campaign against fake news, also says it will not resort to coercion or censorship in its campaign against fake news, but reminds Nigerians of the looming danger it poses to national peace and security.
The timing is also not unconnected to the role of fake news in aggravating the various crises in the country, as well as the need to check this phenomenon ahead of the 2019 elections. In a country like Nigeria, which is multi-religious, which is multi-ethnic, multi-value, we must be very careful not to set the country on fire. And there's nothing that sets the country on fire as easily as fake news. So, yes, we agree there are laws, but I think it's very important that we all even imbibe the culture of not engaging in fake news.
President Muhammadu Buhari has commissioned the Phase 1 of the Abuja Rail Mass Transit Project, an integral part of the Federal Capital City's Transportation Master Plan. The project is designed mainly to convey a large number of commuters and goods between satellite towns, with a plan to integrate with the national rail network when completed. He promised to ensure the full realization of the Abuja light rail system.
What we have in the Federal Capital Territory is another evidence that we are a government that delivers on its promises. I have observed till date other milestones that this administration has achieved, especially in the areas of education, public utilities, and infrastructure development. I commend the efforts of the Honorable Minister of FCT, as well as the support and patience of the residents, while we are working to improve the city's transportation service. I am thankful to the government and people of the Republic of China for their investment in the Nigerian economy. I commend the CCECC Limited, the contracting firm, for the quality of work and timely delivery of this project.
Welcome back. Well, life inside Kuchingoro camp for the internally displaced persons has been a difficult one. The challenges in the camp range from poor sanitation to insecurity. Well, this week on FCT in Focus, we assess the state of facilities at the camp. Take a listen.